Hello everybody, welcome back to a Dark Tale, and at a Dark Tale we are here to bring your stories to light. So thanks for all the support you have given me throughout the week. So I recently just started to post on YT, on other platforms as well, but TikTok is where I go live first and then tell the stories. It's been amazing support because I haven't done any marketing at all, but on YT I have about, I think, 100 plus views. So I'm very happy, even though it's just 100 plus views, but for a small content creator, for someone who doesn't do any marketing, to get 100 plus views, I think it's a very, very good start. So thanks for your comments, thanks for your support. And again, on I think on TikTok, the biggest post we have has reached about 80,000 views. So let's get a round of applause again. So most of you on TikTok is you probably came from my the post where I do all the AI videos and I tell the stories through photos and pictures, so you can see the stories come to light. So the visuals, everything, it's unique. Okay, so today, thanks to everyone for contributing your stories, and we have a bunch of stories today, but we will keep it to an open topic, so we don't have to stick to one theme. Usually I like to stick to one theme, but since we don't have a huge flow of stories, we will keep it to an open topic where we can have different stories from different people, and we can slowly dissect it, have a summary of it. And this is something new that we are trying. Hopefully when I post this content to other platforms, it's a bit more clearer. And on TikTok now, you will be the first to hear the stories that I'll be saying. So we have a couple of stories in line for you. I can't remember what is the themes and topics about, but we have 4 stories for you today. So if let's say we run out of time, I'm trying to keep it to about 30 minutes to 45 minutes. So if we tell 3 stories and we hit the mark, then the last story will bring it to the next video. So let's say every week I will do one video, about 4 stories. So then every video at least we have content. Yeah. So what we like to do here is we take the stories that you give us, and then I bring some life into it. So if let's say you share your stories with me, sometimes it can be a very, very short story, because not everyone have very elaborate ghost stories to share with us. So what I do is I add a bit more spice into it, so that you can have the feeling of the ghost stories that we are going to share tonight. So thanks for everyone who have just joined. Soda Popcorn, The One, Yaya Safendi, all you people, thanks for joining. So today we'll be telling ghost stories. If you guys have your own set of ghost stories today, please do share to us or DM us on TikTok, and we will tell your stories from the following week. So all the stories that I get is from people submitting to me. Some of the stories I actually get from friends. So at least I have a stockpile of stories to tell for the next at least 2-3 months. It's better that way lah. Again, thanks for everyone who have just joined the live. Why not we just start the story straight away? So let me go to my catalog of stories that we have today. Okay, so we have 4 stories. The first story will be about a delivery rider. So last week we had a delivery rider story, and I wanted more delivery rider stories, but since we don't really have a lot of delivery rider stories, we will just keep it to whatever we have today. So again, everyone, thanks for joining. We will start our first story today, and from here, let's see how it goes. So, the first story comes from, it's just a short story. This is a short story from me. You can call me Z. I've been working delivery full time for 3 months only, and I've stopped doing so recently due to the experience that I've had. To start the story, there was one time I was doing my last delivery for the day before I could hit the incentives. So every milestone you receive extra money, like 10 orders you get $15 and so on. So the more orders you do, the more money you will get. As per usual, I took the order and rode to the location. And when I reached, I checked the app for the unit and realized it was the first floor. Great, I thought. Don't have too much waiting time for the lift and such. So as I was about to walk from the car park to the block, so he probably parked the vehicle just behind the car park where you can see the kitchen window, I'm thinking. So as I was about to walk from the car park to the block, if you know those blocks with first story houses, you can usually see the kitchen windows and sometimes the bed window as well from where you park. So no different for this as well, and this is the part the story turns dark. So I love that tagline and I'll probably use the tagline for the future coming. So anyway, back to the story. As I was walking on the path towards the block, I saw a lady standing looking through the window at me, peeking through the curtains. I was taken aback, but of course I continued walking. But as I did continue walking, what she did was this. So this is what I'm thinking. So this is the curtains. The lady was peeking through the curtains. So as I continued walking, what she did was this. She started drawing the curtains close and open. First slowly, then as I grew closer, she did it faster and faster and faster. And as I looked closer, she started smiling. So this is how it was probably. She was holding the curtains, then she was doing this. I sped up my pace until I couldn't see her anymore, and I was now at the stairs area under the block. So I started looking for the unit and realized it was right beside me, the same unit that I saw the lady. The first thought in my head was actually relief, because maybe she was excited to get her food. So I rang the doorbell and waited. Ding, ding. An elderly lady came to the door and thanked me for delivering, but the delivery was groceries and she had a bit of trouble carrying it. So I told her she can call her daughter first if she needed, and I can hold the bags first. So I'm guessing this is how the conversation went lah. When he passed she wanted to pass the groceries to the elderly lady. Auntie, it's okay, I can hold first. You call your daughter out, then I can pass to her. No, auntie leave alone only. But just now I saw someone at the window. That one your tenant ah. I think if you ask her help, she should be okay because this bag is quite heavy for you to bring in. She replied with a straight face. Tenant? There's nobody here, boy. I froze, but I realized the auntie's face also turned pale. I felt really uncomfortable and told the auntie I had to head off with my next order. She half smiled, but also with a worried look as she watched me leave. But of course I didn't want to poke any further and didn't want to scare the auntie too. So I just left, and that was my story. So when he was walking towards the unit, then he saw So that was the story. That was the first story about a Grabfood rider's experience in sending order. Have you guys ever done Grabfood part-time, deliver orders just to get some extra cash? I've done Grabfood before, and let me tell you that it's not always you get these kind of experiences, but there will be times when you will get an experience. Maybe, like today is a rainy weather. you're delivering your food, you hear the thunder in the background, and then just as about to send the order, then you hear in the lift behind you, so that was the first story of the Grabfood driver. And yeah, honestly, Grabfood is not so easy as what people say lah. We have shout out to all the delivery riders, the parcel delivery, whatever the kind of delivery lah. They are the ones that, sorry, I thought I heard a knock. But they are the ones that actually bring us our food, our deliveries and everything. So it's a very unique job to do, where you get to experience different places, and you go to places that other people cannot go to. Yeah, so everyone, again, thanks for joining my life. If you are here new, this is a Dark Tale where we tell you ghost stories from different walks of life. Usually what people do is they submit the ghost stories to me, and then I add in a bit of flavor inside the ghost story. So when you hear the ghost stories, you will start to feel the chills come down your spine. So let's move on to our second story. So this second story, it's actually from someone that I know, and this is the experience that they had and they wanted to share with me. So what I did was I recorded what they had to say, and then I add in how I felt appropriate of how this story will feel like. So without further ado, let's start with our second story. My name is Fa for short, and this happened to me 10 years ago when I was just 15. It was Ramadan time, where we wake up before sunrise to have our meal before we go to bed. During Ramadan, the stories told to us by our parents is that during this month, all the devils or demons are locked up. So it gave us a bit of courage during this month, but little did I know that they did not give us the full picture. So it was the Satan or the bigger or higher level devils that were locked up, but there are still djinns on this earth. Djinns are devils. One which I believe I had met. So in the Islam religion, we don't believe in spirits. We only believe in djinns or demons or devil, and they impersonate spirits. So continuing back to the story. So one day about 4 a.m. I woke up to prepare myself a meal to eat. Usually I try to eat earlier, as I prefer to continue to sleep a bit more before getting ready for school, while my family wakes up later, which means I was all alone in the wee hours of the morning. So as usual, I turn on just one light in the kitchen while I pour myself some milk, followed by some cereal. Cereal first, then milk. At that moment, the air in the room suddenly changed. It was that feeling of like you were being watched. The hairs on my arms stood straight up. Slowly I looked up and turned to my left towards my window. I saw my own reflection looking at me. So windows, you can if it's a bit darker, you can see your reflection first. So I looked up and turned to my left towards the window. I saw my own reflection looking at me, but there was something else. Pressed right against the window pane, it was a small boy squatting on the window ledge, head tilted at an angle, looking at me with curiosity. The face was almost fully white with small eyes, but the tongue was down to his chest. Honestly, I didn't even know how to react. I just slowly looked down at my bowl, lifted it, and walked to the dining table, acting as if I didn't see him at all. Just imagine the whole house being dark with just one light lit up right above me. I just sat there as I ate quietly. Just as I was about to be done, I slowly panned my head and checked the window. Thankfully, nothing was there. But before I could even say anything else, I realized at my living room area, even though it was pitch black, I saw the boy now squatting inside my house at the corner, and the worst of it all, our eyes locked. If I could even call them eyes, it was just like hollow pits. Then all of a sudden, it felt like he just dashed towards me. I just screamed. Everyone woke up and came running out. I couldn't even muster up the strength to tell them what happened. They just looked at me, they just prayed over me and told me to head to bed. Surprisingly and thankfully, that was the last I've seen of the boy. So my lesson learned was that doesn't mean it's the holy month that there wouldn't be ghosts around. So if you have been gone through Ramadan, if you fast, you're fasting, you probably went through this experience before, where you have to wake up in the morning where the sun haven't even rise yet, and then imagine you seeing the small boy looking at you, but then with no eyes. So that was our second story where it was Ramadan and the person who I talked to saw the spirit, which was a very unique story because when we were young, we were told that all the spirits are locked up, they are closed, you cannot see, they won't be out. But actually, as we grow older, what we hear is that actually that's not true. The higher rank devils are the ones that are locked up. The lower rank devils or the playful ones are still around. So don't get overconfident when you're in the fasting month, because there are still spirits around. So that was our second story for the day, or for the night. So time check now, it's probably around 1:04 a.m. It's a rainy night. It's the perfect mood for this kind of stories. So if you're watching this on other platforms, do join my live on every Wednesday at 11 p.m. Do let me know if you want it earlier or do you want it later, or you just watch the finished version of it, because I'm fine with all of them. As long as you watch the videos, you contribute your stories to me, go to my YT and my other platforms as well and give support there if you want to watch the recorded version of this. So thanks everyone for watching this live. We'll continue with the next story, the third story lah. So this third story is we'll go to the BTO story, okay? So this is the story that actually got me a lot of views. If you go to my TikTok profile, I think it's 80,000 views now, the picture. So this is the full story of what actually happened in the picture. The post that I did was a short form summary of it, and this is the full story of actually what happened to this couple that just newly moved into their BTO. So without further ado, let's start the story. Anyway, the raining effect is actually raining outside. It's not my sound effect. Okay, so let's start our our third story for tonight. And then lastly, we have a final story. I think we got time for the final story. I really love this story because the fourth story, because I wouldn't say love the story, but it's a very deep and emotional story, and I hope that I can share with you in this video today. So let's go to our third story first, and it's about the story about a newlywed couple moving into their BTO. So this was one of the first stories that I get, so I didn't really polish up everything. This is how they sent it to me as, and I'll just read it as I read lah. Okay, so Recently, we moved into our BTO flat. It was finally here after a long wait, and me and my wife couldn't wait to move in. So we got the renovation started, and even during the renovation process, we stayed a couple nights in the house because we were excited to finally move into our place. Our biggest mistake, which I personally felt we did wrong, was posting our house on social media. What is excitement to us might have been seen as showing off to some, but honestly, that wasn't our intentions. Once our house was fully complete, the last piece to the puzzle was the digital door lock, and this door lock could detect if someone is at your front door, which I thought was a good feature for safety. So after everything was done, we finally moved in, and everything was good for a couple of days until it wasn't. While sitting on our couch watching a show in the middle of the night, I could hear footsteps walking past the corridor. But since it was a new block, I thought it could be neighbors that was coming back to see their new home, as we did. So I didn't pay much attention to it. But the weird thing about that was the smart lock was connected to my phone, and every time it detects movement in front of the door, the notification will say someone is at the door. But every time I clicked into the app, the live cam showed nobody there. But then I gave the benefit of the doubt that maybe it was too fast for it to capture. After all, it was a new device and I was learning how to use it, and this carried on. There was even one time we found a silver ring at our corridor right in front of our unit, but placed on top of the wall overlooking the view. But the surveillance showed nobody placing it there, it just appeared. Things at home wasn't doing so well either. At our new place, we even started quarreling a lot for no apparent reason. The house didn't feel like a home, and I knew something was definitely wrong. So one day when I heard the footsteps right outside our door again, I quickly rushed to the door. And what I saw is something I can't explain to this day. When I rushed to the door and peeked into the peephole, what I saw was an old lady standing right in front of our gate but looking down. I panicked and pulled away from the door. What was that? Then the notification on my phone pinged. Someone is at the door, someone is at the door, someone is at the door. Ting, 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 ting. I composed myself and went to take a second look. I slowly took a step, inching forward, placing my eyes on the peephole. Nobody was there. So I turned back. Oh! My wife was just standing at the end of the hall looking at me. I slowly said, babe? No response. I walked towards her and realized her eyes was closed and she was sleepwalking, but it had never happened before. I slowly brought her back to bed and I know I had to get something done. I quickly contacted a ustad, which is like a priest, to cleanse the house. The first thing he said was the house is clean but something is wrong outside. With our permission, he started moving the stuff outside and discovered what seemed like reddish sand just below our doormat. It seemed like someone had intentionally wanted to disturb our peace. So we cleaned the place and the ustad cleansed everything and he did the prayers, and thankfully we have not felt anything after this incident. The lesson was never to post everything on social media, as we will never know the true intention of others. So that was the story that blew up on my TikTok page that you have seen in my post. It has 80,000 views, and I think a lot of people resonate with BTO houses because now the age range which everyone's getting married, and then the new generations are getting married, getting a house, starting a family, and maybe this story resonates with them. That's the reason why it blew up. Maybe there was another story that maybe I'll share in my next video, where this couple also saw something in their new BTO house. sorry, when I was doing the effect, then it's raining outside also. So anyway, thanks for everyone for joining the live. Thanks for liking the live. I really appreciate every one of you. If you are new here, this is a Dark Tale where we share your ghost stories and bring it to light. In my post, I don't really post my face on TikTok. I only do an AI version of it. So your stories, I will do AI pictures and I will put a short summary of your story so people can see the visuals of what you saw or what you experienced. Because when you tell people stories, they can't visualize it, but when they actually see a photo version of it, they get a rough feeling of what you. Thanks for the follow, Tom Riddles. Thanks for following me. So they will get a rough picture. So if you go to my post, you will see all the AI. I will try to post every week. There are some weeks where I don't post because I'm trying to get the AI to do what I want, to get the actual picture of what I want. But AI is a bit finicky, so I don't really get the proper picture of the output that I want. So I will not post what I can't get, of course. So I will try to do more research on AI again. This is what I told last week as well. And I just posted a new video about the delivery rider, which is the first story that I shared. So if you guys have just joined, you can go to my YT, which is a Dark Tale on YT as well. And that will have all the recordings there. So thanks for following me on TikTok. You can go over there and follow me as well. So we come to our last story for the day, and I think this is the story. We are at 27 minutes mark that we've been live. So my aim is 30 to 45 minutes, which is just nice for this last story that I really wanted everyone to hear, because it really had a jab in my heart. And I think this kind of stories is what I do horror content for, because getting these kind of stories and this experience and people actually coming out to share their experience, it's a very wonderful thing. So it's like sharing your experiences with me and letting it out of your chest. So let's go to our next story, which is our last story for the night. Again, thanks for everyone who are in the live. Thanks for staying in the live. Thanks for liking the live and sharing the live. Really appreciate everyone for sharing the live. And we'll go to our last story for the night. I'm sorry if you share your life and then people come in and I'm going to end the live. But again, of course, you can always go to my YT channel. I'm on the other app, which I don't know if I can mention here on TikTok, but it's the one with the green color round one. I'm on there as well, so you can hear the audio version, the video version, and on YT is the video version lah. So you can follow me there as well, and you can watch the recorded version of the past 2 videos that I did. So let's go to our last story for the night. Okay, so the story goes like this. I had a boyfriend who had an accident. So the accident happened on a rainy Tuesday. My boyfriend Ryan took a nasty fall off his motorcycle and ended up in the hospital with a broken leg and a bad concussion. Because of my crazy work hours, I couldn't visit him as much as I wanted to. I felt so guilty, but whenever I did manage to drop by, Ryan just seemed totally checked out. He barely looked at me, gave me one-word answers, and acted like he was exhausted. I honestly thought he was just mad at me for not being around enough. But I was completely wrong. The real reason he was being so cold with me was this young trainee nurse named Chloe. She was assigned to his ward, and over those few weeks she started crossing the line. She wasn't just doing her job, she was hanging around his bed for way too long, laughing at his jokes and catching serious feelings for him. And because Ryan was stuck in bed and vulnerable, he actually started liking her back. I found out in the worst way possible. I wanted to surprise him on my day off. So I walked into the ward quietly with his favourite food. When I got to his bed, I noticed the heavy privacy curtain, the curtains were pulled completely shut, the ones around the bed. So excited to surprise him, I opened the curtains. My heart literally dropped. Ryan was sitting on the edge of the bed and Chloe was right between his legs. His hands were gripped tightly around her hips and their faces were just inches apart. I was furious. I dropped the food on the floor and started screaming at them right there. But Ryan panicked and started making up this huge excuse. He swore up and down that his leg has given out when he tried to stand up, and Chloe had just grabbed his hips to stop him from falling. Chloe played along perfectly, looking all innocent and apologizing for the misunderstanding. Even though my gut told me something was wrong, I loved him too much and desperately wanted to believe him. So, I gave them the benefit of the doubt. But I still couldn't let it go. The next day, I reported Chloe to the hospital bosses for acting unprofessional. Within 2 days, she was kicked out of his ward. I thought that was the end of it. I had no idea things were about to get way worse. A few days later, the creepy stuff started happening. I started by getting sleep paralysis. I would wake up in the middle of the night completely frozen, feeling this heavy weight crushing down my chest like I couldn't breathe. In the pitch black corner of the room, I could see a dark, shadowy figure just standing there watching me. The bedroom would smell awful too, like rotten meat. Even during the day, I felt completely drained. My shoulders felt incredibly heavy, almost like I was carrying a person on my back all day. I looked pale, got deep dark circles under my eyes, and my hair started falling out in clumps. I was losing weight like crazy and felt totally exhausted. At the same time, Ryan completely turned on me. He refused to see me, blocked my number, and a week later, he broke up with me through a super cold text. I was heartbroken and physically falling apart. When my grandmother saw how skinny and sick I looked, she guessed, "I think you've been hit by something dirty," she said. She immediately dragged me to the traditional Chinese temple. So of course, when you are young, older people always are very superstitious. So she thought the grandmother was just being superstitious. She was just heartbroken, or that's what she thought. So when they reached the temple smelled strongly of smoky incense and old wood. We went to see an old monk sitting at a table. He didn't even need to look at me to know something was wrong. The moment I walked close, the small bells in the temple started jingling on their own. And the monk frowned, chanting quietly under his breath. He dipped a brush into a bowl of red ink made of... Sorry, I cannot pronounce this word, but I think it's just holy water and some red ink, and started writing messy Chinese symbols on a yellow paper talisman, which are called Fu. You've been hit by Kong Tao or black magic. The monk told me, someone took your personal details, probably your ex-boyfriend. He took your hair, your birth date, or your photo, and paid someone to curse you or to put a curse on you. They used a sickness spell to ruin your health and a separation spell to break you and your boyfriend up. To clean the curse off me, the monk did a ritual. He burned the yellow papers and let the he burned the yellow papers and let the ashes fall into a cup of holy water. Then told me to drink it. It tasted super bitter, like metal. Then he took a bunch of leaves, he blessed some waters, and he started whacking my shoulders back to chase the evil spirit away. While he was chanting loudly, my stomach turned and I threw up black, foul-smelling liquid into the bin. The second that stuff came out, the heavy weight on my shoulders completely vanished. I could finally breathe properly again. The monk gave me an amulet to wear and warned me that even though the curse was broken, black magic always leaves a permanent mark. A few days later, I was walking downtown, feeling a bit normal again. That's when I saw them. Ryan was walking down the street. He looked terrible, super skinny, tired and completely brainwashed like a zombie. Walking right next to him, holding his arm tightly, was Chloe. I didn't even bother going up to them. There was no point. Ryan was totally under her spell now. But as they walked past, Chloe turned her head and looked straight into my eyes. She didn't look shocked to see me healthy at all. Instead, she just gave me this slow, creepy smirk. It was her way of showing that she did it and that she won. I cut off everything to do with him that day. It's been years now and I never saw them again. The temple ritual saved my life, but the monk was right about the side effects. To this day, I still can't sleep in the dark. My hair never grew back to how thick it used to be, and whenever the weather gets cold, I still feel these icy, tingling chills on my shoulder, reminding me of the shadow that tried to ruin me. So that was the last story that we had for today. The nurse story. This story, thanks for sharing this story, because I think to share this story, it takes a lot. And I don't know why when I was reading this story, you see the thunder started going crazy. My voice, I started losing my voice. So I don't know what kind of story was that, but yeah, it really took some toll on me. I don't know if this story is even real, but the character names is all fake names, okay? So they never put real names because like it's their personal stuff lah. So they don't want to make this into a big issue, but she wanted to share the story with me. So I'm very, very thankful for sharing the story with me. My next TikTok live will be on next week, the same day, same timing, probably earlier a bit, about 11 p.m. Today is a bit slightly later because I went to go and have my dinner and I was a bit late and I was trying to do this new setup again. So anyway, if you have a story, I believe most of us here probably have a ghost story of our own, or a story that we heard before. If you are from the army or the police, you probably have your own set of stories. So a dark tale is where you tell me your stories and I bring it to light. And I want to hear your stories and your side of things. So a dark tale, it can be horror related, or it can be just something that is like mystical, something that you cannot explain until today. So but of course, you as long as you want to tell me your ghost story, I will listen. But don't tell me mystical things like you don't know why your wife is not listening to you. That is something that I cannot explain also. So yeah, thanks for tuning in with me in this live. The weather set the perfect mood for me today to do this live, and the last story really took a toll on me. So I need to get some water, get a drink, and go to bed. Hopefully I can go to bed tonight, because this last story was pretty heavy. So thanks everyone for following me, for the people on the other platforms on YT for also following me at there. We have our audio version in the app that I don't know if I can mention, which is start with an S, ST5. Yeah, so that is the audio version of it. I do post video there as well, so you can choose to listen. If let's say you're going on a long bus ride, you want to listen to some ghost stories, then tune in. We got 2 episodes down there already. And again, I'm very happy that with zero marketing, just posting my content on YT and the other platforms, and of course going live on TikTok is it really improved the views. And I have like 100 views, even though it's not much, but for a small content creator, having people share their stories with me and following me on live, It's an amazing experience, and of course I really appreciate every one of you for supporting me in this life. So I'm sorry if my voice is starting to break. Yeah, but I really appreciate every one of you, and I really hope that you DM me on TikTok, tell me your stories so I can bring it to life. Hopefully, as long as I start getting more stories, I would love to do this live every, like, let's say 3 weeks. 3 days a week, 2 days a week, maybe slowly more from there. But of course, again, I do need more stories from you guys. If I don't have stories, I can't do more live. I would really love to do more live, but I need stories. So I'll leave this up to you guys. Thanks again for following me on TikTok. Do follow me on my other platforms as well. And with this, we'll end a Dark Tale. A Dark Tale is where we bring your stories to light. Thank you everyone for joining this live, and we'll catch you next time. Peace.